Writing a book does not have to be hard or take you that long, but the only way that can happen is by writing your book with a purpose. But of course you'd be writing your book with purpose, right? Well, not always. Neil Gaiman, Lee Child, Stephen King, they're known as pantsers. They write by the seat of their pants. When King begins a book, he doesn't have much of a plan, just a spark of an idea. In his book On Writing, he says the process is like excavating fossils. You don't always know what you'll uncover until you dig a little bit. Dig it? Here's the thing, we can't all be Stephen King. A faster and easier way for most writers, be a plotter. And what's a plotter's favorite tool? At selfpublishing.com, we tell every one of our authors to create an outline no matter what. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how. Before we get into that, if you wanna quickly generate a template for your book, we've got one for you. Free template generator on our site. Check the link in the description. Why outlining matters. So what are the benefits of actually writing an outline? Why should you spend so much time planning out your novel or your book before you write it? Reason number one, it makes the writing process way faster. When you sit down to write, you won't be spending the whole time wondering like, okay, what happens next? You'll already know because, like I mentioned, having a GPS, you'll have the route mapped out in front of you. Reason number two, you'll write a better ending because you already know what's coming, meaning that you can drop clues, you can foreshadow the plot twist, drop information, much like a really great TV show where you are at the edge of your seat waiting for that next episode to start.
And are you happy with how things ended? Yeah. She didn't say yes.
Best season ever!
That's essentially what you could be doing with your book too. Reason number three, you can say goodbye to writer's block. You won't get stuck wondering where the story goes next because you'll already have it in front of you. One of the main reasons why writers get writer's block in the first place is because they have no idea where they're going next. So this solves that problem for you. Reason number four, it improves the quality of your writing. So your brain is not consumed by what comes next. You can focus on how you're saying it. That show versus tell, if you've ever heard that before. You can make it funny. You can make it emotional. You can find out what your unique voice is as a writer. Reason number five, it gives you a higher quality first draft. And if your first draft is already solid, your final one will be even better. That's the power of planning. There are tons of methods. Your job is to figure out which one might work best for you. And I encourage that you experiment. Some are more visual, some are more structured. We'll start with a nonfiction friendly version and then move on to fiction. The first one is the mind map and outline method. This is perfect for nonfiction, and it's our go-to at selfpublishing.com. First, you'll start by mind mapping your main idea. Maybe put your working title in the center, and then you'll branch out into subtopics and smaller details. Once you've brain dumped everything, you'll be grouping those ideas into chapters to create your structured outline. For example, if you are in the real estate market, you might have get real estate leads in the very center, and then start to map out some of the different processes that someone might go through in order to bring in high quality real estate leads into their funnel. One thing that I like to keep in mind when I'm thinking about those nodes that come off of that center nucleus of a mind map is I think about the transformation that you are creating for your reader. Let's just say at the beginning of their journey, we can stay with the real estate example. Maybe someone is renting out their short-term rental for the first time. They're coming into the process not knowing what to put on for their listing, what they even need to deck out their space to attract a really responsible short-term tenant. Maybe they're wanting to generate tens of thousands of dollars of extra income per month. They're feeling financially free. They're making more empowered decisions in their finances. That's the end point of the journey. What you really want to do is map out the steps that you want to take somebody through from, first of all, coming in overwhelmed and then at the end feeling really free, right? What's that process that you take people through? Those may be your chapters. Method number two, the bullet point method. You'll write down every idea that comes to mind in a bulleted list, and then you'll organize those ideas in order that you want them to appear, and then section them off into chapters. It's quick, it's simple, and it's effective. Oftentimes, the value of the information isn't the information itself, it's the order of information. So think about what someone needs to know first in order to get to that next step in the process. That's how you may rearrange your bullets. Next is the chapter by chapter outline. This is a favorite for people who like structure, but they don't want to overcomplicate things. You'll just write the main goal of each chapter and the key points you'll cover underneath. That's it. Some of those main points that you may want to cover may include a story. It may include a takeaway from that story. It also may include a reflection question or an action item for your reader. And then you may set up a transition of what you may cover in the next chapter ahead. Next one is sketch online. That's great for visual learners. If you like to draw or visualize scenes, sketch out what happens, like in a comic strip or a visual timeline. It doesn't work for everyone, but if you work that way, it can be super creative if that's your style. You can even type in some prompts into AI and generate some images and some illustrations as well that kind of map out your outline scene by scene. The next one is Scrivener's built-in outline tool. If you've used Scrivener before, it's got an outlining tool built right in it. It's really easy to follow and made for writers. We have a whole video on it. It's linked below. Before we get into the fiction outlining methods, I just wanted to mention one more thing. I want you to think about who your reader is for this book. Sometimes people don't really know who it is that is going to be reading it. So if you don't know, what I might recommend is thinking about your former self. Now let's talk about that for a minute. Oftentimes, a lot of authors, and you may be the same, are writing the book that they wish that they had back when they were going through the same process of getting an outcome that they desire. I want you to think about all of the emotions that were happening at the time and where you were then. Now think about all the emotions and what you're able to accomplish now. I want you to think about all of the events that led up to you going from before negative emotions, stressed, overwhelmed, what have you, to afterwards, feeling free, feeling excited, sharing this method with other people, sharing your story on stages maybe. Now let's talk about the fiction outlining methods. Fiction adds layers into your outline, characters, character arcs, plot twists, and timelines. And things can get kind of messy. So these methods help to keep everything in order. Next is template-based outlining. There are tons of templates online for different genres, like the hero's journey, mystery structures, romance arcs, and more. These templates give you a proven structure to follow while still leaving room for creativity. Make sure you check out that outline generator linked in the description below. The table timeline method is great for tracking time. For stories that span long periods, like multi-generational dramas, epic fantasies, or historical fiction, the table timeline method is a game changer. You'll open up an Excel or Google Sheets file and create a simple table. Each row is an event. Each column can be a date, location, character, or any other relevant detail. This gives you a bird's eye view of your story's chronology. It helps avoid plot holes, like a character knowing something before they learn it or being in two places at once. Plus, it's a really handy tool for tracking character development and subplots over time and over a series. The Post-it note method is one of our favorite low-tech, high-impact methods. You'll write each scene, event, or major idea on a Post-it and slap it on the wall or whiteboard, window, fridge, wherever with surface area that you have access to. This method makes your story modular, so you can rearrange the scenes and group by subplot or character arc. It's really great for visual thinkers who like to see their story laid out. And yes, it'll dominate your living space, but it is a physical, constant nudge to keep writing and iterating. Just don't let your cat knock them all down. The snowflake method. This is developed by Randy Ingermanson. This approach helps you build your story step by step, starting from the tiniest flake and expanding outwards. It's a bit of work up front, but it's incredibly useful for planning complex plots, especially if you're juggling multiple characters and timelines. Think of building the blueprint before constructing the house. This is that method. The next one is the skeletal method. This is the minimalist stream. It's fast, it's flexible, and it gets the bones of your story on the page. You'll just write down the chapter title, or the scene name, the main thing that happens, and maybe a few quick notes. That's it. It's a great way to stay agile and creative without getting bogged down in the details early on. If the snowflake method is building layer by layer, this one's sketching with quick lines before filling anything in. This is perfect for pantsers trying to become plotters, or at least semi-plotters. The 5 milestones. This is used at selfpublishing.com, and it's our core outlining framework for both fiction and memoir. This maps out the 5 key moments that create a really strong, satisfying narrative arc. While each genre might be tweaked slightly, the structure remains the same. First off, we start off with the hook. This will grab the reader's attention and introduces them to the main problem. The inciting incident is the second one. This is the moment that everything changes and forces the protagonist to act. Oftentimes, this is the moment everything changes. If you're familiar with the hero's journey, this is that moment that the world is never the same for your hero. The midpoint is a major turning point or realization that shifts the story's direction completely. The climax is the highest tension point where everything comes to a head. This is your moments of highest drama, and the stakes are really, really high, and it's the most exciting moment in the whole entire story. The resolution is when the loose ends are tied up and the character and your world is forever changed. If you're overwhelmed by outlining, just focus on these 5. They'll give you enough structure to stay on track while leaving space for discovery. The second slap is a major turning point or realization that shifts the story's direction completely. It's also where your character is not just hit once, but it's hit a second time. And that's when they're probably at their lowest in the story's arc. Lastly, we've got the reverse outline. This is outlining in reverse, literally. Have you ever heard of the phrase, start with the end in mind? That's what this is all about. Instead of starting from the beginning and mapping it linearly from beginning to end, you start with the end and your final scene. How does your character grow or change in this? You'll start with the end and then you ask, how did we get there? This method is fantastic for crafting stories with tight twists and well-earned emotional payoffs. It helps ensure everything builds towards something rather than just meandering. This is especially useful for mysteries, thrillers, and literary writers who like to back-engineer their brilliance. Are you feeling stumped or overwhelmed about your outline? Don't worry about it. What we recommend at selfpublishing.com is just setting a timer for 15 minutes at a time. And you can keep setting that 15-minute timer until you either run out of time or you run out of ideas. And then walk away. I mean it. Walk away for at least 24 hours before you come back and look at it again. Oftentimes, just like when you're working out and you develop some muscle memory, you can actually be generating ideas in the interim, just like you're still generating muscle mass in between your workouts. It's the same idea. So when you are walking away, you may come up with additional ideas, maybe when you're in the shower, maybe when you're on a run. Oftentimes, it's the least convenient time to write, right? But we are all walking around with a device in our pockets pretty much all the time. So I would just say, keep your phone nearby and record some ideas when they come out. Keep it by your bedside or just outside the shower. Just make sure your phone is waterproof, right? That way, you can always be capturing your ideas and you can add them to the outline when it's most convenient for you. So those are our outlining methods to help you get started, whether you're writing nonfiction, fiction, or something in between. Try a few, mix and match, and find what feels most natural for you. Outlining isn't about perfection. It's about clarity. It saves you time, energy, and sanity so you can stop pulling out your hair and actually finish that book. Which method are you going to try? Comment below and let me know, or share your own outlining method that we didn't mention here. I'm Allie Tugwell, author success coach here at selfpublishing.com. If this video helped you, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe too. I'll see you in the next one.